All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, everybody? We're back. Rio and I talking some hoops. 8 games on a Tuesday. I will not complain one bit with that. Last day of the regular season, the in-season tournament. We will be touching a little bit on what that means when we get to each game. Some games are more important than the others. Our man Rio will break down that to the best of his ability. It's a little tricky out there. A lot of if-then scenarios, stuff like that. Points difference matters and all that, but probably have a little impact. Of course, injuries, always the biggest thing in NBA DFS. Waiting on some Q tags as always. We'll go game by game, break that down. How you doing, though, on this Tuesday? Rio, how was your night yesterday? How was life in your world?
Yeah, everything's good. We had a good night in the NBA streets, hit on some good low-end pieces, Kyle Kuzma, all the Nuggets stuff that went down with Reggie Jackson going off for 60 was kind of hurtful for me, but some members benefited. But yeah, excited about this slate. Little 8, there we go. Little 8-gamer in-season tournament with a lot of implications. So I'll try to touch on that. I've been kind of catching up, haven't paid too much attention to the in-season stuff, but tonight seems like a situation where the matchups and everything matter a little bit more. So I'll touch on that when we get to the games. But yeah, all in all, some pretty good games to break down tonight.
Yep, absolutely excited to talk through it. As always, a lot of familiar faces in chat, a lot of nice words from you guys. Robin here, Ben, my man Tweezy, Chris in here, Sean Sullivan, Brian England, wins a lot, Gator Nation, M the Great, Kevin, appreciate those words. Our man Jordan, Andrew Martinez shouting out Rio's core, absolutely fire yesterday. William in here, Chris L, Danny, Chris L again, Ross K. What is going on? Appreciate everyone hanging out, watching live, watching on playback. Appreciate that like button. That subscribe button helps us out a ton. And I don't know for sure. I still do see the graphic up here, so I'm going to throw it up. Tambo said yesterday was the last day for Cyber Monday. Again, I don't know for sure if this will work. Doesn't hurt giving it a try, though, if you do want to join us at SHIPITNation.com. $69 a month, already very cheap, cheaper than pretty much the rest of the industry. Discord is included in that. We have a 6-month and the annual package, too, which comes out cheaper. Try the code Turkey20, though. That would get $69 down to $49 if Tambo is not slacking and that is still up. We will see. Give that a try. If someone does give it a try, let me know if it works as well. Again, no promises. Tambo said yesterday was the last day. Regardless, $69 a month, $59 a month for a 6-month plan. Annual comes out to $49 a month. Plenty sports going on right now. MMA back. Rio's excited for that. 3 nice cards to finish the year. NBA full force. NFL, of course. Nice NHL slate. Been in the NHL streets a little bit too. We have projections for all the sports, ownership, core reports, and of course, a great Discord community. Head over, try that code Turkey20. If it doesn't work, though, still the best deal out there. Any final thoughts before we go game by game? 8 to talk about, Rio.
No, I mean, I'm having a little bit of internet issues right now, so I'm hoping that I can make it through the whole show with no issues. Yeah, that's basically it. If I'm cutting out, then just know that's the reason why.
Yeah, you should be good. You're good right now. Hopefully you don't cut out. I got a couch coming in the next 2.5 hours anytime. Hoping it's after the show. The worst outcome, me leaving, Rio cutting out of internet, you guys watching a blank screen. But hopefully that doesn't happen. No bad mojo there. Let's get the first game of the night. And the slate locks 30 minutes later than usual. So 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Just know that you have an extra 30 minutes to work with. Of course, everything will be on the site up early. Any changes are always in yellow. Charlotte Hornets, New York Knicks, first game of the night, 220.5 total. New York is favored by 11.5. On the Charlotte side, LaMelo is out, so big news there. Rozier starts at point. Brandon Miller should start at shooting guard. Nick Richards is still out on the Charlotte side as well. On the Knicks side, they are fully healthy. Looking at this game and ownership before I throw it over to you, I think RJ Barrett by far will be the most popular play in this game. Outside of that, though, I think it's relatively low owned. Mitrop's pretty interesting to me. Center always loaded. He has that upside, though. I'm not going to be overstacking this game by any means, but I think there are a couple pieces. Again, Mitch Robb, probably my favorite in tournaments. RJ Barrett will be popular. How do you see this game going down? Any implications for the last day in the regular season tournament?
Yeah, so this is a must-win game for the Knicks in terms of in-season tournament. I believe they would hold the tiebreaker win if they win this game by more than 5. They would beat Orlando for that last spot in the play-in game. So definitely a big game. We could see some elevated minutes from all the Knicks starters. But yeah, this game is pretty likely to be a blowout. Knicks favored by double digits. Hornets without LaMelo Ball. Yeah, I mean, the Knicks are top 6 defense, second slowest team in terms of pace in the league. So hopefully the Hornets, who are they're dead last in defense and top 6 in pace, could keep the game close and kind of speed it up a little bit so we could see some big scores from the Knicks side. But starting with the Hornets, with no LaMelo, we should see Miles Bridges have a bigger role. He sees the second biggest boost in usage when LaMelo is off the floor. And he's been playing extremely well since returning from the suspension. Now priced in the 8Ks where he rightfully belongs. He's seeing upper 30s minutes in pretty much every game since he's been back. A little bit of a tougher matchup with the Knicks being a pretty good interior defense. And he'll see Julius Randle, which might bring a little bit of foul risk. But he's a good play. I definitely would, if I'm trying to play any of these Hornets guys, I would probably want a Nick on the comeback. Just I don't see any of these guys hitting their ceiling unless the game is close and it's a fast-paced game and we see multiple guys get there. But definitely prefer Bridges on the Hornets side. Terry Rozier will see a big usage bump too. He'll be the point guard for this team. Returned from injury last game, immediately saw 37 minutes. And he's leading the team in usage when LaMelo is off the court. So pretty solid price tag for Rozier. I don't really love it though. Not into Mark Williams, tough matchup. I don't like Gordon Hayward, but I think Brandon Miller is actually a pretty sneaky option. He'll be in the starting lineup still. And yeah, he sees one of the bigger boosts with no LaMelo in terms of his DK scoring output. And I think he'll probably go overlooked in this mid-range. So I definitely wouldn't mind him. I'm just interested to see how the backcourt rotation is gonna shake out with James Bouknight finally returning from the knee injury. He should be the backup point guard. Maybe him and Ish Smith are splitting the backup minutes, but he's a talented kid, so maybe he'll get some extra run. But obviously, I'm not looking to play that guy right now as he's returning from injury. And then on the Knicks side, really good matchup for Randall and Brunson here. Randall will probably see Miles Bridges, which he's a pretty solid defender, but the Hornets are still giving it up inside, and they're a pretty big 3-point funnel as well. So maybe with the elevated minutes, Randall could get there just from the minute ceiling standpoint. But I think I prefer Jalen Brunson here. I'm going to see Terry Rozier on defense most likely, and he's an okay defender, definitely much better than LaMelo Ball, but it's not that much of an upgrade. And Brunson is driving the ball 16 times a game on the year. Hasn't really shot the ball all that well, but the Hornets are also bottom 3 in transition defense. So with this game hopefully being sped up with the Hornets coming to New York, I could definitely see a pretty big scoring output from Brunson. We just saw that last game. He went for 64 DraftKings points. So we know that that's in his range of outcomes now. So I definitely like him a lot. I would be okay with RJ Barrett. I actually think that I like Emmanuel Quickley's matchup a little bit better, even though he's going to be coming off the bench. I just think that he has more ways to get there with this being a better matchup for guards and for shooters especially. And I think that he plays in a close game. He probably plays into a blowout. So I think he just has multiple scenarios in which he could get there. And if the Knicks are probably going to run a pretty tight rotation, I wouldn't see more than 8 guys getting minutes tonight. So we could see him get close to 30 minutes. And he's one of the better bench scorers in the league. The matchup for Mitchell Robinson is just okay. It's not as good as we've been accustomed to versus the Hornets. They are bottom 6 in field goals allowed at the rim, but he doesn't take a ton of shots, so he's not going to have a huge scoring output. Not taking more than 5 to 7 shots probably. And they do have some small ball centers that the Hornets can run out there to kind of pull him away from the basket. So I think there's some downside to Mitchell Robinson a little bit. I would much rather prefer Emmanuel Quickley to RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson, who are looking at more ownership. But yeah, all in all, some really good matchups for the Knicks. I like this spot here for them.
How many? I like Brunson a lot. I'm always a Brunson over Randall guy. He has the ball in his hand so much. They both have a lot of upside. Brunson's definitely, as of late, been much better. They're talking must win, or they want to win this game. Give me upper 30s minutes, little solid or a little price discount too from Randall. So I definitely like Brunson. I think Mitrov's fine just because center's so loaded. People are gonna rather go to Allen, Sengun, some of these other guys. There's plenty of centers out there today, which is gonna have to keep his ownership a little lower. Yeah, I mean he's not a ISO low post kind of guy though, so I guess his upside is capped to an extent at that position. So more I look at it, Brunson by far my favorite. I think Barrett's fine. Small forward, power forward eligibility will be pretty popular though. Other chalk I prefer. You like Quickly? I can always get behind Quickly. Dude's a bucket for a fair price tag. Ownership will be in check. I don't love the other side. Rozier probably would be my favorite. I think Bridges is fine, but at 8K, you really can't bust. Brandon Miller, no thank you. So probably just Rozier. Don't think Bridges is the worst play in tournaments. I like Brunson a lot. Barrett, fine. Mitrov, I'm good with as well. And I guess I don't like him as much as I initially did after your breakdown, but pretty good game, okay game to start. Not one that will have a ton of ownership. Again, RJ Barrett's will be the most popular in this one. Good amount of games at 7:30 though. I think five games at 7:30 on an 8-game slate. So don't worry about just backloading or something like that. Waiting for news and future games. There's nothing like that. These 7:30 games, I mean, our rosters over half the slates going to be locked right away. So I'm not going to be waiting or backloading for any news. Let's keep it rolling. Next game, a lot higher total in this one, closer spread. Atlanta Hawks, Cleveland Cavaliers, 237.5 total. Cavs are favored by 4. On the Cavs side, Dean Wade's out. Cardio King, that does not matter. As far as the Hawks, Jalen Johnson is out. Will be out for 4 to 6 weeks or something with the wrist. That definitely matters and definitely unfortunate for him. Dude was on a run coming into his own in the league for sure, both ends of the floor. So sad to see that. Does open up for like Sadiq Bey. Bogdanovich gets a bump. Some of those Hawks do. Do they get a big enough bump, though, on a slate like this? I don't know. I'll let you take it over. The Cavs side will be higher owned. Garland, Jared Allen will be 2 of the higher owned plays, I think, on the slate. They'll be up there at least. Mobley might get a little bit. Not much on the other side, I don't think, with the Hawks, though. How do you see this game going?
Yeah, touching on the Jalen Johnson stuff, definitely sucks. That was one of my guys this year. I've just been hammering him in DFS. He's been painted off a lot, so it sucks to see him get injured. But hopefully,
another Wisco boy. Wisco boy. They're all doing good except my man Jordan Poole is bringing everyone down. Shake my head. Keep going.
Yeah, we had a long conversation about Jordan Poole in the chat last night, but it sucks to see him get injured. Hopefully, he can get back healthy soon. But yeah, in terms of play-in situations, I don't think there's really much implications in this game. I think that both teams are pretty set wherever they are in the standings for the play-in or for the in-season tournament. So no implications there. But in terms from a matchup perspective, pretty good matchup for everybody on Cleveland here. The Hawks playing extremely fast in the year, ranking 3rd in pace, bottom 6 defense. The Cavs are middle of the pack in both defensive and pace category. But the Hawks games have really sped up a lot with teams kind of having to play up to their speed. They're 5th bottom in the league in transition defense, so we should definitely be looking for the Cavaliers to get out in transition. Hawks are bottom 4 in rim defense, bottom 7 in 3-point defense. I mean, this really sets up for a big Donovan Mitchell smash spot, I think. Bit of a tougher matchup going against DeJounte Murray, one of the better guard defenders in the league, but his minutes will be high, up in the 36 to 37 range. He can really get going in many facets of the game. He's been one of the best, most efficient scorers in the league this year. So I definitely don't mind Donovan Mitchell projecting really well for us right now. Evan Mobley has equally as good of a matchup. Going to see Sadiq Bey on offense, who will be filling in for Jalen Johnson. He's going to have a huge size advantage over him. Get a bunch of easy looks down low. He's making over 5 field goals per game on the year around the rim, so he could definitely get going down low. Darius Garland also in a good spot going against Trae Young on defense, who's not the best defender. He's actually leading the Cavs in drives per game with 17 on the year, and just second behind Donovan Mitchell in terms of usage. So I don't mind him if you want to get a Cavaliers guy. Don't want to pay the 9-2 tag for Mitchell. You can definitely pay down for Darius Garland. Centers have had a lot of success versus the Hawks on the year, especially in the rebounding department. Hawks are bottom 5 in offensive rebounds allowed on the year. And Jared Allen seems to no longer have a minutes limit, so we could definitely see a big game from him. Definitely a good price, like 6,400. I really like all the Cavs guys. I think I prefer Donovan Mitchell the most just for his upside. And then I would probably rank it in terms of the pricing. I like Donovan, Mobley, Garland, and then Jared Allen. You can get to your boy Max Struss if you want to. 66 is a pretty high price tag for him when everybody's healthy, but he's shown the upside before with everybody there. And then on the Hawks side, don't really have a ton of interest. Everybody is pretty rightfully priced for them being fully healthy, and I think Trey is just a little too expensive at 9.7. DeJounte a little too expensive when sharing the floor with Trey. Hunter is too expensive. Not a good matchup for Capella, and Sadiq Bey doesn't really have a ton of upside, 5,600. I guess if you wanted to save a little bit of money, go down to Kongwu, you could, but a lot of my interest is on the Cavaliers side in this game.
I was sorry. I like Strus. I'm always Strus for sure. That price tag on DK though, probably a little too much on FanDuel. 6K, so 6.6 on DK, 6K on FanDuel. Still has shooting guard and small forward eligibility. I think I prefer him over there. D-Mitch is my favorite on the Cavs too because of those big four: Garland, Mobley, Allen, D-Mitch. D-Mitch is going to be the lowest owned. He has the most upside.
Sorry.
You're good. Just hit that mute. Yeah, you're good. He has the most upside, and then he didn't even hit the mute. All right, let me restart. I like D-Mitch. Garland's going to be pretty high owned. Jared Allen's going to be pretty high owned. D-Mitch, you get nice. I guess you can play Garland and D-Mitch together. I don't think it's the craziest thing because of his 7.2 price tag. It's not my favorite on an 8-game slate, though. Give me D-Mitch with the upside. If he gets hot, he'll have the ball in his hand. He'll chuck more, less shot attempts for Garland, and he'll be a fraction of the ownership. And then I prefer probably Mobley to Allen. Not a strong lean there because Mobley's going to get some ownership too. I do like that power forward eligibility. Center's absolutely loaded too. So Allen will be one of the most popular centers. I think getting away from that, plenty of other good center plays on the slates. And Allen's just he's not the ISO low post kind of guy either. He has to run good with rebounds, double doubles, putbacks, things like that. So I think I can get away from him. Would prefer Garland to Allen chalk. I do like D-Mitch a lot though. Other side of the game, definitely a little tougher for me to get. I think Trae Young is fine as a contrarian spend. Like if you go Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young on this slate, it'll definitely be contrarian. Both below 10K. You can still make a pretty good roster from there. I guess he'd probably be my favorite though. Bogdanovich 5.7, I think is a fine price. Don't love Capella at center being really good. So probably just Trae or Bogdanovich on the Hawk side for me. Like D-Mitch a lot. Garland, Mobley, Allen is how I'll rank those. Keep it rolling. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Cheats, what's going on? Junior in here. Shouting out Rio for that Kuzma call. Absolutely great call yesterday. The dog wants a SHIPIT mascot. There you go. People enjoy the dogs in the background.
I just realized I didn't hit mute. I hit mute on my microphone, but not in the stream. So that's my fault. Got a barking dog in the background. Try to do my best to keep her down, but
You're
out
good.
of my control.
You're good. You're good. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. Toronto Raptors taking on the Brooklyn Nets. 222.5 total. Brooklyn is favored by 2. No injury news on the Toronto side. On the Brooklyn side, Dennis Smith Jr. is questionable. Doesn't really need much. Cam Thomas is out, though. So a boost to all the Bridges, the Dinwiddies of the world, but I don't think a big enough boost to really get to this game much or at least have interest. Kind of a cross-off for me. Tell me if you see a play on either side that you like, but I don't like much.
No, I definitely – there's some play-in implications for this game for sure. I'm not exactly – I think that it's a must-win game for the Nets, and I believe they're favored right now. But yeah,
is Cam Johnson for sure out? Am I seeing that right?
Cam Johnson should be in. Cam Thomas.
Yeah, he's in. Cam Thomas is out. Cam Johnson's in. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right, keep going.
And they should get Claxton back too. He's probable. I'm pretty sure he's already listed available to play, so he'll be back. Yeah, I don't love any of the really none of the matchups in this game really stand out. If you want to look for some players on the Toronto side, the Nets are getting beat by 3-point shooters right now. They're bottom 6 in 3-point defense, so we should look at guys like OG Anunoby is really the only real shooter that they have on the floor right now. Maybe some Scotty Barnes, but he's a little priced up, and his usage and fantasy scoring has gone down a bunch. So don't really want to play him. Siakam is just an okay floor play. Been leading the team in usage the past 6 games. Should have an easier matchup versus Cam Johnson. But just 8-2, I think that there are some better spots. I don't really see much on either side. I mean, Gary Trent's been getting more minutes. He's a pretty valuable bench scorer, 3-point funnel, so the matchup's okay for him, but his role is really volatile, so I wouldn't be running to play him. Have a little bit of interest in Nick Claxton for the Nets. You're going to be going against Jakob Poeltl, who's one of the worst rim defenders in the league. I've been saying this for years. He's just one of the worst center defenders out there. If he's in, he should be a full go. Game is pretty meaningful for them for the in-game tournament situation. So maybe his minutes would get a little bit elevated. Cam Johnson, a little too expensive right now. Not a good matchup for him, so I don't really looking for him. It's really just Claxton or bust in this game. Maybe a little bit of OG Anunoby.
Yeah, sure, you could play one of those guys. Will probably be under 10%. Rio's been on fire with his calls. For me, 8-game slate. Make it a 7-game slate. Like Siakam at 8-2. There's just other guys. I'd rather get D-Mitch or Garland for 1,000 more, 1,000 less. Claxton's, Cam Johnson's, Dinwiddie's, Poeltl's. If you land on any of them, I'd be fine with it in a pretty chalky lineup, but not something I'm going out of my way to get to anybody in this game. Keep it rolling. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Hope your Tuesday is going well. Our Tuesday will get just a little better if you guys hit that like button. Helps us out a ton. We do appreciate it. Over here, bringing you shows every single day. Keep it rolling. Next game on the slate, still at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Kind of a big story of the slate. Probably is the story of the slate on the Heat side, but the Bucks traveling to Miami, 228 total. The Bucks are favored by 4. Middleton is questionable, so big news there. We will get it before lock. Again, 7:30 p.m. Eastern lock. On the Miami side, why the story of the slate? Jimmy and Hero are out. Haywood Highsmith is questionable, which is actually pretty big news. Without Jimmy and without Hero, if Highsmith is in, he probably starts and is a solid play. If he's out, then guys like Hawkes, who's already a great play, becomes even a stronger play. Then we can get a little deeper in the bench. First question, does this game have any implications on the in-season tournament? And then these Heat guys are going to get some ownership. The Bucks will not, though. Any runbacks? How many Heat are too many? Would you force one if you went 3 or 4? Talk a little bit about that important game, especially on the Heat side to talk about.
Yeah, so this is a situation for Miami where they would need to beat Milwaukee by more than 15 points to beat New York for the tiebreaker for the in-season tournament. Doesn't seem very likely with no Jimmy in there, and them being really thin with Highsmith and possibly Duncan Robinson not playing. And then for Milwaukee, it's just a win and in situation. So they win, they'll secure their spot in this in-season tournament. From a matchups perspective, both these teams have really picked up the defense over the past 9 games for Milwaukee. I'm just using that as a benchmark because that's about where they kind of started to pick things up, and Giannis was starting to play more like Giannis of old. They ranked top 11 in the defense in the D rating and top 7 in offensive rating. So they've definitely figured out whatever it was that was ailing them earlier in the season. The Heat have gotten more back to normal too. Started off the year struggling in defense. Now they're in the top 8. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit tougher with no Jimmy in there and possibly no Highsmith, 2 really good defenders. But yeah, Milwaukee playing pretty fast right now, top 5 in pace. Both these teams are pretty big 3-point funnels, so we should look at the shooters in this one if we're looking to play some guys. There should be a ton of value on the Milwaukee side with no Jimmy. Like you said earlier, Hawkes is already rating as one of the best values on the slate. 5,400. He's been playing really well right now. Should see a ton of minutes if Highsmith is out also. And then if Highsmith misses, then Caleb Martin probably going to get the start. I think that his defense will definitely be needed for the Giannis and Damian Lillards of the world. So he'll be a good value play. But Eric Spoelstra did mention that he played him a little bit too much last game, and he only got up to 31 minutes. And he's he returned from injury a few games ago, so maybe he's a little bit limited. But yeah, I mean the Heat, they might be really thin tonight, just kind of be forced to play all of their guys pretty heavy minutes, and pretty close spread right now, only 4 points. So they're expecting the game to be pretty close. I mean, could definitely see a pretty big minute ceiling from a lot of these guys. Matchup is not very good for Bam, with the Bucks being a really good rim defense with Brook Lopez down there, Giannis down there. He's probably going to have his hands pretty full on defense. I'm guessing that he gets the Giannis assignment. They've run that matchup in the past and just kind of let some other guys float around the rim and help him out. But yeah, I'm not too sure if that's. Go ahead.
They've won Brook too. Like Bam had. There's some games where, I mean, because the Bucks and the Heat have played so much in the playoffs, where they just spread out the whole court, got Bam at the free throw line, and Brook was on him, and he was so slow, and it was free mid-range jumper every single time. Like Brook had no answer. So yep. I think it probably should. And it's, of course, a completely different team. There's no Drew. There's Dame. Like the help defense. The Bucks are going to be a worse regular season team. I thought it was pretty clear coming into the year, figuring out defensively, and I think they are. But it's a new coach. We've seen him absolutely destroy Brook. Giannis, when he is on him, does better. So it should be Giannis. But if it's not, I mean, man, he can have a field day in the center. And there's already no Jimmy and stuff. So he's got to at least get some. Because I'm looking at it right now. Center's so good. Bam, surprisingly, is not getting the ownership I expected without Jimmy. The minutes will be up there. The spread is pretty close. Like I thought, too. I was like, wow, no Jimmy, no Hero, and it's only 4, which kind of makes sense. But I guess I'll throw it back to you. But, yeah, I'm not necessarily convinced it'll be Giannis. I'm not sure it'll be Giannis or Brook. If it's Brook, I do like it because he's so slow and he can just hit that mid-range jumper over him. It'll be interesting to see what they do, though, because Bam absolutely destroyed Brook. I think it was last year in the playoffs and made him switch up the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, if it's Brook Lopez on him, he's going to have a huge advantage. Brook is a really, really solid rim protector, but he's not very quick laterally, and Bam is one of the more athletic centers in the league. He's got pretty good ball handling skills too, so I could definitely see Bam having a big game. Obviously going to have a huge role. Just pulling up the numbers really quick for the usage. Yeah, I mean, Bam leads the team in usage with no Hero, no Jimmy Butler on the floor, so he's definitely going to have a pretty big role. Don't mind it. I guess maybe if you're playing Bam, you might want to correlate some other pieces on the Milwaukee side. Pretty respectable game total, so maybe we see a pretty close game with elevated minutes from both sides. So just switching over to the Bucks side really quick. Tough matchup for Giannis also, but he's been playing really good this year. There's just a little bit of downside. The Heat are pretty well equipped to guard a player like Giannis, but obviously he can overcome any matchup. The price tag makes it a little bit tougher to get to with the mid-range being really strong tonight and there not being a ton of value right now. But if you can get to Giannis and you like the way the rest of your lineup shakes out, you can definitely do that. Matchup's a little bit better for Dame than Giannis with the Heat being a little bit more of a three-point funnel, but I like some other guys priced around Dame, so I wouldn't be looking to play him really. Had some people talking in our Discord about Brook Lopez earlier, and he's been playing really well lately. There's a chance that they don't put Bam on him, which would definitely give him a big size advantage if they put Bam on Giannis. And he's shown a lot of upside lately. He went for no less than 37 DK points in his last 4 games and almost went up to 60 a couple games ago. Been shooting the ball really well. Could be left open for a ton of threes. So actually, I like the upside for Brook Lopez here a little bit. If Middleton misses, Bobby Portis is going to be another piece that will get a pretty big roll off the bench. Shot 30 minutes last game that Middleton missed. His size and his scoring definitely going to be needed in this one. So he's an option. And yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much broke down the Heat side. It's you're going to have a lot of interest in guys like Jaquez and Caleb Martin, maybe even Josh Richardson if we do miss Duncan Robinson and Haywood Highsmith here.
Yep, great breakdown. I'll make it easy. Buck side, if Middleton's out, I think Giannis – I still don't love Giannis as much because mid-range will be more popular. Luka's 200 more against Houston, which I prefer him in a vacuum. SGA, Tatum, like there's a whole 1,000 less range in the low 10K range that I think I prefer the savings and going SGA over Giannis. So I doubt I get to Giannis today. Yeah, the Heat have guarded Giannis well. Josh said that is definitely true. That's also when Jimmy's out there and stuff, the captain of the defense. But that is definitely true. They have guarded him well. Probably no Giannis for me. No Dame at that price. It would be Brook as the only guy probably at 6'1". And then, yeah, if Middleton's out, maybe Bobby as well. If Middleton's in, probably no Bucks. Jaquez, definitely like him, regardless of Highsmith. Probably going to be the highest owned play on the slate, especially if Highsmith does miss. Great price tag. I'm good with it. Caleb Martin, good guard and forward eligibility, which helps too. Again, can only Highsmith injury or Highsmith being out can only help him. He's a great play regardless, though. Ownership will follow. The Josh Richardson probably, him and Kevin Love get the biggest boost for me. If Highsmith is out, just another guy in the rotation, they'll be down. So just give a minutes boost to all those guys, especially with Bobby, Brooke, Giannis. The Bucks pretty big. They're going to need Love size a bit. And if it is Giannis on Bam and Love's out there and it's Brooke on, like, that's a step out wide open three every single time for Kevin Love. So I think they're interesting boosts if Highsmith's out. I like Duncan Robinson a lot, though. I don't care who's in, who's out. Looking at his ownership, it's going to be really low. Him and Strus, man, I'm coming around to these guys, but 6.2K, better price on FanDuel, way better, 5.6K. Also shooting guard and small forward eligibility. The Bucks get killed by the three, though, like you said, a lot of pick and rolls. No Jimmy, no Hero. They're going to need scoring. I think Duncan Robinson's going to chuck, and man, he chucks. It can go in. So give me some Duncan. That, I don't know, sub 10% or something. So I think you could play 3 or 4, especially if Highsmith's out. I think you can get to 4 Heats. 3 probably if Highsmith's in, but I like Jaquez, Martin, Duncan a lot, and Richardson, Love, Bam. They're all fine as well. And again, I think you can play 3, 4 and not even run any Bucks. So any final thoughts on how many's too many? Does that change with Highsmith stuff? Any thoughts on Duncan before we move on to the next one?
No, I pretty much am in agreement with you. Duncan has been playing a lot better, been adding more to his game than just shooting. 62 is probably one of the more expensive prices we've seen for Robinson, but matchup's really good for him. So I wouldn't mind him if you're looking to get into this game from like a game stack perspective.
The Whiteys, Strus 66, Duncan 62, changing the NBA.
Oh,
you want to let Ryan know what you're drinking right there?
No, yeah, definitely not a mixed drink right now. I'm a little under the weather right now, so it's a little it's like a chlorophyll lemonade type drink that I put together. No alcohol for me right now.
No alcohol over there. No alcohol over here, that's for sure. What else we got? Oh, Marley and Marley and our man Ryan shouting out your stash. People loving it. I appreciate
November.
that as always, Josh. November, there you go. Any thoughts before we go? Yeah, Duncan around 5%. Give me the upside chance with him at that ownership. Any Lowry take before we go on? I think he's in play, and I think he'll be overlooked compared to the other ones. No strong take. I think he's fine. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I don't think I'll play 75-year-old Kyle Lowry on this slate. I think there's better plays in that range, but I definitely wouldn't fault anybody for doing it. His role is gonna be pretty big. If no Duncan, no Highsmith, but I don't really love it.
Yeah. Someone said looks like Lowry going to be pretty chalky. I think I think Jaquez, Martin way higher on. He's going to get some ownership. I agree. If some of these, we do have some important Q tags. We'll get to it in this next game. Talking Drew, if some of the Q tags are ruled out, maybe Lowry's ownership goes down a bit. Won't be the highest owned on the slate. Won't be very low owned. Somewhere in the middle. I see him. Let's keep it rolling though. The last game at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Bulls, Boston Celtics. Going to the injury report. The Bulls, Zach LaVine questionable. That's one of the big Q tags we're waiting on. Alex Caruso also questionable. On the Boston side, Porzingis out. Drew Holiday questionable. So really big news in this game. And this is kind of where there will be better value than Lowry or people in that range if these two are ruled out. If they're in, I think Lowry's ownership stays kind of where it is now. I don't know. Is there any big spread in this one? Is there any implications talking in-season tournaments? And again, there's my couch. So you break down this game for me.
All right. So, yeah, so in-season tournament for this one, Boston is going to need to beat Chicago by around 30 points to catch Orlando for a possible tiebreaker because the way they do it is point differential. So they would need to put up a big score, which I definitely think is possible. And Joe Mazzulla definitely willing to let his guys play deep into blowouts. I don't think that it's out of the range of outcomes. But yeah, I mean, the Bulls are a huge 3-point funnel. So I mean, Tatum's going to be set up really well. Derek White, I mean, even Al Horford, if he can get it going, going to be set up pretty well here with no Kristaps Porzingis. I'm assuming Drew Holiday is back for this one, with it being the in-season tournament game. So I don't really have a ton of interest in these guys on the Celtics side. Just, I mean, maybe a guy like Jason Tatum, he'll probably come in really low owned. Matchup is really, really good for him. Could definitely put up another one of those 70-point games, but I think I like some of the other spend ups a little bit better. If you think that the Celtics will not play their stars into blowout, then look for some Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett, Sam Hauser type guys, but they're pretty priced up for their role right now, so I wouldn't be running to play any of those guys. And then the Bulls are pretty much a full fade for me. They're just playing too bad right now and can't get anything going on offense, so I'm full fading that side of things.
Even if Levine's out, like Andrew Martinez mentioned, Kobe White, if Levine's out, any thoughts? Or what if both Caruso and him, like Pat Will slides in the starting lineup, still better places with the Heat and stuff?
Yeah, I much prefer the Heat value. It's really a bad matchup for everybody on the Chicago side. Boston's one of the better defenses in the league, and both these teams playing way down in pace. I could definitely see this being a blowout pretty quickly.
I like it. Yeah, no additional thoughts for me in that one. You broke it down very well. New couch season. People went to go get chlorophyll. You people are funny. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Appreciate those words. Luis, and yeah, if Pat Will does start, I have some interest there. Would you rather punt at shooting guard or at center? There's not too many punt center options that I'm really seeing, so probably shooting guard, especially, sub 4K is something. I'll go shooting guard with that answer. Don't see many viable punts at center that I like right now. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. A couple more to talk about. This one's at 8 p.m. Eastern. 3 left. Oklahoma City Thunder, Minnesota Timberwolves, 229 total. Timberwolves are favored by 3. No injury news on the OKC side that we're waiting on. As far as Minnesota, Jaden McDaniels is out, so Nas still going to continue to start. No big changes on the Timberwolves side. Looking at ownership in this game, I don't know. I think Gobert will get a little bit. Ant, I think, is interesting. I don't think too much ownership will be in this game, though. Any interest or any implications for the play-in tournament, in-season tournament? I keep saying play-in tournament. You guys know what we're talking about. Yeah. Any implications there, and what are you doing in this one?
I don't think that there's much implications for the tournament in this one. I actually don't even know where these teams stand, but nothing really stood out as big as like the Knicks and the Miami-Milwaukee game, and then another game a little bit later we'll talk about. But I don't really have much interest in either side here. These two of the better defenses in the league. The Wolves are the second best defense in the league. OKC is playing a little bit faster. Both these teams are top 6 in offense, so it's probably going to be a pretty competitive, close game, but nothing really stands out from a matchup perspective. Both these teams are pretty good in all areas of defense. The only person I'd really have interest in, and it's pretty much been the same story for me all year, is Karl-Anthony Towns. He probably will avoid Lou Dort, probably going to see Jalen Williams in defense, who's a pretty solid defender, but Cat's been getting double-doubles on a nightly basis, can get hot from 3. OKC a bit more of a 3-point funnel. They're doing a really good job defending the paint, so he probably gets the better matchup of everybody. That's really kind of the only place I'd be looking to in this game. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what they would need. They I think it's like a 30 or 40 point differential they would need to win by tonight.
Cool. Thanks for that, Ryan. Yeah, pretty much irrelevant in this. But at the end of the day, it's still a regular season. Like, it's a random day in the regular season. These guys are on the court. They're going to be trying to win. I think it's important to talk about and stuff. It's not going to be changing my process too much on these guys that I'm clicking, though. Expect like when we get to March DFS and all that later in the season, people actually fighting for real playoff spots, tanking and stuff like that. That's when the fun really begins. Not really. This is actually the best time of the year in NBA DFS. But I'm with you. SGA. I love SGA too. I don't love Giannis as much. Luka's a little tough to get to. I do prefer Luka over Giannis. Still a lot of people going that mid-tier build. The Garlands of the world, D. Mitch is there, all of that. I think spending up a little more, that low 10K range. Not that SGA is going to be low owned, but low enough, and it's going to get you on a kind of different build. Sign me up for SGA every single day. What's going on, Alex Hahn? Hope everything going well. Any chat interest? Someone asked about that before you get to the next game.
Not really. He doesn't really have that. Has a negative value score right now in our projections, so I'm just going to trust it on that one. He's been playing really well, one of the better rookies on the year. Shown pretty good upside last 2 games, but I think I'll look elsewhere. There's some other guys I like in that same range I'd rather play.
I like it. We have 2 games left. I'm not going to screen share it yet, but if you guys are a member, if you're in the Discord, you probably saw earlier this morning, Tambo tagged the NBA chat. Ceiling rankings are live on the site. Again, they're with more data, more games are played, they will become stronger and better. It's a soft launch right now that we're saying. Again, I'm not going to show it on the screen right now, but if you are a member at SHIPITNation.com, they are live on the site. Go to NBA, go to ceiling rankings. Tambo in Discord pinned a message in NBA describing it as well. But it talks about 5 times at their price range. How often have they hit 5 times, 6x, 7x? It has a percentage right there. It has the ownership as well. Again, we're still working. It's a soft launch. There might be a couple kinks. If you notice something, please let us know. But it's an awesome tool. We're going to have correlation coming up early November or early December as well. With more data coming out throughout the season, we can add more tools to look at on top of projections, slate plans, core reports, etc. So very excited for that. If you have not seen, go to SHIPITNation.com, check the ceiling rankings, and then go to the Discord and the pinned messages. Tambo talked about that. And again, if you're not a member, as Rob says, what are you waiting on? Head over to SHIPITNation.com. Get in the Discord if you do join monthly, $69 a month, 6 months, $59 a month. It comes out to annual, comes out to $49 a month. 2 games left, Rio, Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks, 228.5 total. Dallas is favored by 4. Nothing on the Houston side that is worrisome for injuries. As far as Dallas, Maxi Kleber out. Derek Lively is questionable. I mean, that Lively news has to be pretty big. Rashawn Holmes, would you have any interest going back there? If he is out, what do you see in this game?
So start from the in-season tournament perspective. Really big game for the Rockets. They need to win this game. Basically, it's a must-win game. They're win and in type situation for them. So we should see really big minutes from Sengun, Fred VanVleet, Jabari Smith, Jalen Green. They'll probably run out of 8-man rotation. So all their main pieces should possibly see 40 minutes. Fred VanVleet's been seeing around 40 minutes a game. Sengun saw 40 against Jokic last game. So definitely a big game. Have a lot of interest on the Rocket side. But yeah, I mean, anytime a center is going to be starting around 4K, I think you have to have some interest in him. Didn't play too well in his last game out. Did get the start, put up a goose egg in points, but he saw 21 minutes, which is kind of all you can ask for. Starting down there, historically been a pretty solid fantasy producer, so I'd be okay going back to him. But I'm kind of wanting to avoid the shaky value plays that he might end up chalky if Lively gets ruled out. I'm expecting Lively to actually play, so this might not even matter what I'm saying. But if he doesn't, you could definitely look to Rashawn Holmes. From a matchup perspective, Rockets are the top defense in the league right now, which is crazy to think of. Past couple of years, they've been one of the worst teams in the league, and just really turned it around. Top D-rated team in the league right now. Bottom 3 in pace. The Mavs are one of the worst defenses in the league, bottom 6 in defense, also playing up in pace, top 7 in terms of pace of play on the year. Mavericks are getting killed inside, bottom 5 rim defense. The Rockets have a pretty solid all-around defense, not a ton of holes to poke in them, so we can throw out the matchup stuff out the window for them. But yeah, it's going to be a really big matchup test for Luka Doncic going against Dillon Brooks. And obviously Luka's a stud. Been playing amazing this year. 11.6, a pretty high price tag to pay, but yeah, worth noting that Dillon Brooks has done a really good job limiting Luka's upside. He's held him to under 30 real life points in every single game that they've played against each other. Luka has 0 triple doubles against him and only 1 double. So I think there's a lot of downside to Luka, but obviously there's a ton of upside too because he's Luka and he can overcome any matchup. But Dillon Brooks definitely a really, really good defender. Yeah, Kyrie is kind of priced up as if Luka was not playing, which he is. So 9,600, not a good price tag for him. fine fading him. Not a ton stands out otherwise on the Dallas side. Derek Lively, if he's in, I expect him to have full minutes. Pretty solid price tag for him at $5K. So if you want to go to him, you definitely could, but he won't see a ton of minutes, but definitely has a little bit of upside there. And then, on the Rocket side, ton of interest in Sengun. Been playing amazing this year, going against one of the worst interior defense in the league. He's shown his upside past 2 games, or 2 of his last 3 games, going for 56 and 58 DraftKings points. He's second on the team in usage, second in assist percentage. Should see a ton of minutes in this game, so I really like him. His projection is really strong for us right now at 8.5. And I think he probably – I don't know if the number we have right now for his ownership is going to be as high as it actually is, because I think people might be a little scared off to play him at 8.5. But I really like Sengun in this one. And then love Fred VanVleet also. Really good matchup for him too. Has seen no less than 39 minutes in 7 games, in his past 7 games, and 5 of those 7 games he was in the 40s. Definitely going to be playing a ton of minutes tonight. If he can get his shots to fall, should have no issues going against the 6th worst defense against opposing point guards. He got double upside, and really big upside for Fred VanVleet. Jalen Green turned things around too. I think he's actually leading the team in usage on the year. He's averaging over 10 drives a game, shooting pretty efficiently. Like I said, really bad rim defense, so he could definitely get it going. 6'4" is a good price tag. Jabari Smith, same thing. He's been playing really well. 5,900, good price tag for him. So I have a lot of interest in these Rockets guys. I think with this being such a big game for them, you got to have interest. I think I might have a min 1 type situation for these guys.
I like it. Good breakdown. We might have someone be giving away a 1 month. So that's what I'm working on right now. DFS Juice, very nice in the Discord, might be giving away a month. So give me 1 second on that. I think like Sengun, someone said, will he be the chalk center? Yeah, he's definitely going to be pretty chalky. I think Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Fred VanVleet, I think they all get some ownership. I guess Grant Williams, if no value really opened up, I think some people would maybe go there to jam in some big boys. I don't like the Giannis Luka spend ups really either. Give me SGA and down on this slate. I don't love the value enough, but rank those Senguns, Fred VanVleet, Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet. I know I said one of their names twice. And then how many max would you play?
So I would rank it Sengun, Fred VanVleet, but both, that's 1A, 1B. I think they're really close. And then slightly prefer Jabari to Jalen Green. I think you probably could play 3 of these guys, but I probably wouldn't want more than 2 personally. I just think that might limit the overall upside of your lineup if you're just jamming in these guys. They've all had really good games together in the past couple games, so they definitely could all get there. But I just don't really like to play that many guys on one side of a game unless I have something on the bring back to kind of boost it up. And I just don't really see it for Luka or Kyrie here to want to jam in this game. Really, I would prefer to play probably 2 guys as 1-offs or 2-offs.
I like it. So DFS Juice 1515, founding family member in Discord, wants to give 1 month away to a non-member out in the YouTube chat. So first of all, of course, shout out you DFS Juice. Very, very nice of you. We need people in the YouTube chat. I'm trying to think of something. You have to say you're not a member. We always do. I want them to the MMA was dope when they guess something, but we also only have 1 game left to talk about. Say something nice about Rio. Say something nice about Rio. He will pick a comment. Rio can do it random. He can be scrolling and randomly pick on someone. He can just really be impressed and happy with a comment that was said, and he can pick them. Say something nice about Rio, though. Again, you have to say you're not a member. Obviously, it wouldn't do you any good if you were. But shout out to you, DFS Juice. We will pick a winner after this next game. Rio will pick one, and then we will contact you via email and let you know how to get that. So thanks again, DFS Juice. What a community we have over here at SHIPIT.com. If you don't win, though, you can still get in, of course, monthly, 6-month, annual. Get in the Discord if you do join. Last game of the night, Rio, Golden State Warriors taking on the Sacramento Kings. 236 total. Kings are favored by 1.5. No injury news on the Golden State side. Keegan Murray is out for the Kings. Probably Duarte starts is my guess as far as ownership in this game. Don't think we really see much on either side. Do I have interest in much of this game? Not really, especially with a lot of these like Middletons, Drew Holiday, some of these Levine Q tags earlier. If any of them breaks the right way, this game will be even lower owned than it is now. But what are your thoughts on this one? Not much for me.
Yeah, so for the in-season tournament here, Sacramento is 3-0, and they need to either win the game to be in or to get first place in their bracket or their grouping, or lose the game by less than 11. So definitely some incentives for them to just go out and win this game. Should see some pretty heavy minutes from all the starters, Sabonis and Fox especially. Yeah, I mean, this game should be a really fun one. Not sure if it's a game you'd want to full stack. Just tough to play a lot of the Warriors guys right now. They will be getting Draymond Green back, which will help out their offense a ton. But yeah, going to be playing in Sacramento. Since De'Aaron Fox's return, Kings are playing much faster, top 6 in pace since he's returned, which is definitely how we're more accustomed to the Kings playing. When Fox was out, they're playing much slower in pace. So definitely love to see that from a fantasy perspective. Warriors are just middle of the pack in defense, offense, pace, everything like that. They're just kind of chugging along, playing how they like to play. But yeah, the offense will definitely get a big boost for the Warriors with Draymond back. He's kind of, their point guard on the floor, their point forward, if you will, when he's on the floor. So he's got a good price tag, 6,200, projecting really well for us right now. Should not see any sort of minutes limit. Maybe the cardio is not fully there. Maybe he's got to ramp up a little bit, but projects really well. So I would not mind him. Power forward, center eligible, which is nice. And then, I mean, on the Warriors side, it's pretty easy to break down. I mean, I don't think you could play much of any of these guys. Steph has not been showing the same upside we're accustomed to. Chris Paul is a little too expensive with Draymond and Steph in there. Klay Thompson's been playing a little bit better, gone over 30 DraftKings points in 3 straight, but minutes are still down. Not a ton of upside that you really want from a guy at 5'9". Looney may be a little bit sneaky. His size is definitely going to be needed. Could see close to 30 minutes in this game versus Sabonis. So he's probably a little bit underprojected in terms of his minutes outcome in this one. But all the secondary guys, Saric, Wiggins, Kuminga, any of the lower guys like Pods, Moses Moody, Payton, I don't think you should really be looking to get to any of them. But I definitely have some interest on the King side. Sabonis, for sure. Warriors are bottom 5 in DVP versus centers. Sabonis has had a stretch of a few down games by his standards, but he's gone for almost 50 in this same matchup earlier in the year and was just 2 assists away from a triple-double. His assist rate has been really good on the year, so I think I slightly prefer Sabonis to De'Aaron Fox when they're this closely priced. Just think that his floor is a little bit better, ceiling probably similar, but he's a little bit more likely to get there at this price tag. But yeah, I definitely like De'Aaron Fox too. He's been lights out since he returned from injury. Price up to almost 10K, which is definitely deserving for how well he's been playing. His role has been elite, averaging almost 17 drives a game in the last 7 games, leading the team in usage by a good amount with a 30% rate. Matchups a little bit tougher with seeing a mixture of Andrew Wiggins, probably some Moses Moody and Gary Payton mixing in on him, but definitely has a lot of upside here and should play pretty high minutes. And have a little bit of interest in Malik Monk too with a playoff type atmosphere. I could definitely see him getting hot from 3. This game being a home game, could definitely see him just getting hot and putting out a pretty big scoring game if the Kings want to lean more into offense in this game versus defense. Maybe he sees closer to 30 minutes, but never really the case for him. You kind of just hope that he has those breakout games when he's only seeing 25 to 28 minutes. But he's projecting pretty well right now, so he's okay to leave in the pool. But just mainly my interest is Sabonis, Draymond, De'Aaron Fox, and then a little bit of Malik Monk in this one.
Yeah, I wanted to like Monk too, again, projecting pretty well. The minutes just aren't there enough. He can get hot, but score independent too. I like Fox or Sabonis mainly. Would pick just one of them. Don't see much in this game though. Again, the earlier games, 5 of the 8 lock at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Good amount of Q tags in that one. And otherwise, I just like Cleveland, the Hawks. I just like some of these other spots more than this last game. But Fox Sabonis, max 1, I think is interesting. Curry at 9.5, I think is just too close to Aaron Fox. He definitely has that upside, man. We keep saying it, but there's a lot of guys like SGA in that range, Tatum in that range, Garland. Like there's a lot of spends up there, and I just like others more in a vacuum. So Fox or Sabonis, nothing else in this one for me. Rio, I don't know if you have looked in the chat yet, if you just want to do a random scroll to pick one. But again, shout out our man DFS Juice giving away a monthly subscription. So who do you got as the winner? All right, I'm not going to do it. Rio, you're on mute. You're on mute. It's usually me.
That's my first time. That's
I know.
That was my initiation into the business. But yeah, a lot of really good comments in here. I see my girlfriend Jasmine here shouting me out. So shout out to you, Jasmine. Can't choose her. That would be a little too biased.
Yeah, can't. I wouldn't let you do that. Sorry, Jasmine.
She already hears enough about the DFS talk with me on a nightly basis. She doesn't need to be in this part of the business. But let me see.
All right, you got to pick one side.
All right. Okay. There's a lot of good messaging here. I think I'm going to. Man, this is tough. All right. I think I see one that I like up here. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Michael Vasquez. Rio's the type of guy I would vote for to lead my small village. I love that. It's really funny. Really like that message right there. Try to stall until Tyler gets back, not putting my host hat on, but yeah, shoot me or Title if you have Twitter, shoot us a message on Twitter or all
right. So email. Here we go. Sorry, we're back. It's all in. Email at info@shipitnation.com. All right, I'm gonna drop that in the chat. Michael Velasquez. Gonna double check Tambo's message to make sure I'm not messing up that email. Info. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So email this over. We will get you taken care of. Shout out to you, Michael. Shout out to you, DFS Juice 1515 for doing that. That is very nice of you. And I did see our man Baho Jenkins. I know he said, "Cut the crap." That's your favorite 3 words to say every single time. Who's the best value on the slate? Well, what you got to do? You head over to SHIPITNation.com. There you go. You sort by points per dollar. As you can see, you can sort it by salary, projection, whatever it may be. Top value. Jaime Jaquez right there. No surprise right there. I'll give you. Actually, no. You have to go over to SHIPITNation.com if you want to see number 2. So there you go right there. Butthole Jenkins. Hope everything going well with you. Steven in here, ToeTagginTambo said he'll get you ASAP. So head over to that email. Shout out you, Michael Velasquez. Rio, great job. I appreciate you putting that hosting hat on a little bit when the couch was figured out. Your camera, your connection was absolutely perfect. The breakdowns, very good as well, as a lot of people saying in here. Kuzma, great call yesterday. The core was on fire. Looking to see who you got today. What are your final thoughts on this slate?
Yeah, I really like the slate. I'll definitely it's nice we get a little 2.5 hour window to kind of digest everything a little bit more. There we go, Tambo. That's right.
There you go.
Yeah, really, really good slate, though. I'll definitely be looking forward to talking to you guys in Discord a little bit more, get my core up. Hopefully I can follow up my Kuzma call with another good one tonight. So definitely good luck tonight to you, everybody. I'll see some Ship It Nation logos up top of the leaderboards.
Absolutely. And as always, projections. You need it in NBA. We have very good ones over here, updated throughout the night, too. NBA's not over just at lock time. Today, more so, I guess, than other nights. Still isn't, though. 5 games start at 8 p.m. Eastern. Our projections updated all the way through the last game, though. Showdown content. Very, very few do that. Rio does a great job Monday through Friday. Prize pools are pretty big. That's also on the site. Slate plan breaks down top tier, mid tier, lower tier, ceiling rankings. Soft launch is up, so check that out. Get in the Discord. Again, monthly, $69 a month. 6 month comes out to $59 a month. Annual comes out to $49 a month. See you tomorrow, Rio talking hoops. Same place, kind of. We're at Mayo Media Network on tomorrow. We're pretty much same place. 30 minutes earlier. Good luck tonight. Rio, good luck tonight, everybody out there. We really do appreciate y'all hanging out. We say that a lot, but we really do mean it. Hit that like on the way out. Let's see some Shipping Nation logos up top. For my man Rio, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.